Well, it's never easy to hear, but biases are something we all carry with us. Tonight on Denver 7, we hope you'll join us for Hidden Bias of Good People, a look at why these biases exist and how understanding the biases others have can help us all communicate more openly. Our Ann Trujillo recently chatted with that program's host, Dr. Bryant T. Marks.
Dr. Marks, thanks so much for having this conversation with us. And right now there are so many discussions happening about race and bias, good, bad, and uncomfortable. So why is it that we need to have these conversations right now in this space?
Well, I think as a country, even just if you look at the last year, there's been a lot going on. So the virus has had differential impact in terms of cases and hospitalizations and deaths by race and ethnicity. We've had civil unrest related to George Floyd, Breonna Taylor. We had a divisive political season. So a lot's going on. And I think that questions are arising in ways and at levels they haven't in the past.
I know you're a father, so how do you take all of these conversations and apply those to our children? What do you teach your children? How do we teach our own children?
Yeah, so a lot of times we work with parent groups and even K through 12 public schools, not public schools, just educators. And they'll say, well, how do we de-bias our kids? How do we make sure they're not biased? Well, we sort of split it up into two categories. If your kid's on the younger end, maybe 9, 10 years or younger, we lean towards balance of exposure, right? What they're reading, what they're watching, the TV shows and movies. Show them a diversity of characters playing the leading roles, right? So the prince or the princess or the hero can look black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, as well as the villain, right? But have a balance. And once they become into like middle school, a little older, and they can understand the history of different groups in this country and what that can mean, and you can start to talk to them in a more nuanced or complex manner. What you want to do is expose them to the achievements of many different groups. You say, yes, in the US, not all groups have been treated the same, but many of these groups have made positive contributions. So there's good in every group.
As you have said, that bias is just part of nature. So what can parents, teachers, other adults do to open our eyes, to maybe realize that we need to be having these conversations?
Yeah, I think just a willingness to acknowledge in our society, different groups exist, and there are different traits associated with those different groups. If you just acknowledge that, then if you have different input, you're going to have different output. So if the histories of different people in this country vary, and some folks were indigenous and their land was taken from them, some folks were brought here as slaves, some folks came here as refugees, some folks came here voluntarily, right? So we're here, but we came here under different circumstances and had different paths. Our willingness to own that and acknowledge with those different paths, they're going to be different outcomes, okay? And then we can have a real and authentic conversation.
If someone watches and leaves with one new idea, just one new idea or thought on bias, what should it be?
One new idea. I don't want to give this one away. I mean, there's going to be a few aha moments. And I think one is understanding how prevalent it is. Folks, the implicit bias, this stuff is in the air, and we're all inhaling. So if they can take that away, they'll be better for it. You got to tune in to see the rest.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Dr. Marks. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you can check out Hidden Bias of Good People tonight at 7 here on Denver 7. There will also be an encore presentation tomorrow at 6 on our sister station. That's Local 3.